We're coming to you today from the gun store in Las Vegas, Nevada, where some experiments are going on with new weapon systems for not only the Colonial Marines, but Weyland-Yutani as a corporation as a whole, after my incident on the Rickenbacker, in which I came to find that M855A6 in the now 100-year-old WWSD service weapon, while having high penetration, was really insufficient to deal with the xenomorph threat. And in that regard, I actually got face-hugged and impregnated. But my combat synth, RB9K here...
Artificial person.
My artificial person here, RB9K, found me in time, got me to medevac, and thankfully I was able to have that extracted from me, and was before the impregnation really took hold.
Oh, shit. RB9K to ops, we have another specimen for cryo.
So, in that regard, RB9K, can you tell us a little bit about why the M855A6 round, while it is possible to be utilized against a xenomorph threat, isn't really sufficient, let's say obsolescent, and what we see here is new with the M41A pulse rifle?
So the M41A is chambered in 10mm by 24 explosive tipped light armor piercing. The 10mm projectile is filled with an explosive that once it penetrates the target, detonates inside the target. It is a 210 grain projectile, leaving the muzzle at 840 meters per second with a maximum effective range of 500 meters. So with the xenomorph's chitinous exoskeleton that a lot of times our previous armor-piercing ammo, if it did penetrate, didn't do much damage on the inside, the 10 by 24 explosive-tipped light armor piercing does grievous damage to xenomorphs once it penetrates the target.
Now this really lends itself to the historicity of the M855 round going back now over 100 years, in which we hear that it penetrates well but tends to go through the target, and you really have to get, which doesn't really work for xenomorph, but a CNS hit with this to have an actual neutralizing effect. Are these explosive rounds with their larger mass capable of actually causing more damage as a result?
Oh, extremely more damage. The cartridge is equivalent to a 300 Winchester Magnum round, but with an explosive center.
And that mass is required to have that explosive capability.
Correct.
So why don't you walk us through some of the manual arms of the M41A1? Everyone's very familiar with the WWSD.
So it feeds from a 100-round U conveyor mechanism in the magazine, which allows it to carry such a large capacity of ammunition. It has an external round counter that is reset every time a new magazine is inserted. Under barrel, we have a 30mm grenade launcher that is fed from a tubular magazine, and it can use high explosive dual purpose rounds as well as buckshot rounds and flechette rounds.
Amazing. So at this point, I know we see a 20 on this round counter, but this is an experimental weapon at the moment. This is not yet in production.
Correct. The reliability of the 100-round U conveyor feed magazine is still being worked out.
So there are also sighting systems here as well. It looks like we have a laser as well as what we would call as a conventional red dot?
Correct. This one has a reflex sight because in testing, we don't know that the test subjects will have the integrated heads-up display that Colonial Marine units will have using the M41A. The laser is visible and IR as well. If you were using this with a service helmet, you would see the reticle overlaid on your heads-up display.
Excellent. So now we're going to do some live fire with this a little later in today. Is that correct?
Correct.
We're going to demonstrate for you the M41A pulse rifle, RB9K. The combat synth is going to show you the manual of arms. We're going to demonstrate the prototype 20-round mag. The actual issue service weapon will have 99 rounds per magazine. So as you can see, I stopped with 3 rounds left. We're going to finish the magazine. And we are now empty. Okay, so along with the new M41A pulse rifle, the new service weapon, there's of course a need for a new squad automatic weapon, which is now the M56 Smartgun. RB9K, can you give us a walkthrough on this new weapon?
The M56 Smartgun fires a 10mm by 28 explosive tipped caseless round. It is similar to the round used by the M41A, but it is 4mm longer, giving it a higher powder charge and a better ballistic coefficient in the projectile. The round, combined with the complete system of the chassis, the gyro-assisted aiming arm, and fire control system, increases the range of the M56 Smartgun to 1,500 meters over the 500 meters of the pulse rifle.
Additionally, it is a larger projectile, right?
Marginally larger, it is 230 grains versus 210. that is a slightly longer projectile to give it that better ballistic coefficient.
Now, one of the most impressive things about the new M56 from Weyland-Yutani is the tracking system and aiming system. Can you give us some information about that?
So traditionally, USCM and security personnel would be carrying a separate motion tracker, which is difficult to use at the same time with whatever small arm they're carrying. The M56 Smartgun chassis and fire control system integrates the motion tracker system into the gun itself. So what it will do is it will help steer the operator towards the target. The operator still has to make the decision to fire. It does not auto-fire on itself as the Sentry gun models that Weyland-Yutani offers does.
So you would say it's an aim assist.
It is an aim assist. It steers, and it can be configured to various levels of steering based on target data.
Now, I know that there's also some work being done to include thermals.
Yes, it does include thermals into the heads-up display, integrated with the operator's aim assist module.
Now, if the aiming system were to fail, are there backup aiming systems with the M56?
There is an IR laser integrated into the smart gun itself that would be visible through a traditional USCM helmet interface.
Okay. As well as it looks like the operator is somewhat up-armored in terms of their chassis.
They are up-armored because we find that most squad automatic weapons gunners are the ones who draw the heaviest fire. It also has an ergonomic integrated system that offsets the increased weight of this entire gun platform.
M56 Smart Gun. Just a moment ago, we discussed the M56 Smart Gun and its target tracking capabilities, both IR, thermal, and otherwise, but we did not discuss the M314 motion tracking standalone device from Weyland-Yutani. RB9K, can you give us a walkthrough on this incredible product?
What the M314 allows the squad to do is track animal-sized targets up to 1,000 meters away in open terrain and through walls on an X and Y axis in urban built-up terrain up to 20 meters away.
Okay, excellent. That sounds like a very huge piece of information and force multiplying role on the squad. As a result, we have this service pistol, close combat shotgun, and grenade here as indicative of that. Can you explain that person's role on the squad with this device?
The motion tracker specialist is typically functioning as a point man, and they want to be ready to address the threat should it manifest itself immediately. And because this requires the use of one hand, it is very unlikely they'll be able to use their service rifle successfully while using the motion tracker at the same time. So many motion tracker specialists choose to carry it and their handgun at the same time or have a close quarters combat shotgun ready to immediately address whatever threat manifests itself.
So RB9K, I would say this is a very successful demonstration of Weyland-Yutani's new products.
All of our new armaments are satisfactory for dispatching the Xenos.
Absolutely. So,
Incoming message. Biolab leak. Biolab leak. All Weyland-Yutani executives report to the evac ship.